Hello and welcome back for another episode of the Blanga podcast on probably, with Game 3 of Origin, probably the biggest week of the year.
This is the hugest week of the year, Jed. Look, you know, you've got your major holidays in the year. You've got Christmas, Easter. This is the pinnacle of my year, of your year, of probably half the viewership's year.
It is Rugby League Christmas this weekend. And if you don't know what we're referring to, you're probably in the wrong podcast.
3, 2, 1, Magic Round.
And God, the things I love about Magic Round, the Caxton, Suncorp Stadium, Caxton Street.
Caxton Street?
You know what gets a great run on Magic Round? That pub at the top of the street, the Lord Alfred.
The Lord Alfred? That one, yeah.
Lefties gets a great run.
God.
Caxton Brewing Company. God, Brisbane comes alive and you can already feel it in the air.
I woke up this morning. I usually have a bit of the Monday blues.
No, but it's a different Monday.
It's a different Monday. You know what it is, Jed? Is this period from like Monday to Thursday? It's like the days after Christmas before New Year's.
It is, exactly. Because everyone's around. You know, let's list off the events tonight. We got 6 o'clock at the Howard Smith Wharves.
Yeah, bang.
We got 100% footy.
Yep.
They're doing the Willie Mason podcast, the top of the Star building.
Oh my
What
gosh.
else are they doing? Playbook Boys on Friday. With the Bloke and the Bar Boys on Saturday.
Yep.
And they're men of the people.
Yep.
That's what I want to say.
We're going to be hosting our own event on Friday night.
On Friday night, we're doing a meet-up at the Caxton Street. We'll be there around 3:30.
3:30.
Yep.
It'll be just outside the German sausage Brothurst stand.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Right where they get the pipes to pour the beer, the jugs.
Yep.
Come down.
Yeah.
You can shake our hands.
Yeah.
You know, we're normal people. You know, that's
Come
what
up to us.
I want to get that message across.
Yeah. Very approachable. We'll be there. We'll be talking footy.
We're talking Super Coach.
Super Coach.
You can even shout us a beer if you want.
Yeah, if you so desire.
As long as you don't.
But it's going to be a great afternoon. We'll be there Saturday as well and Sunday. But yeah, Friday afternoon / evening. Meet your friends from the Blanga podcast. We'll be there.
The Suncorp turf has been absolutely destroyed. And today, they ripped out half the stadium. Fresh turf for Magic Round. If that doesn't get you excited, I'm not sure what will. Fresh
Giddy.
turf.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Bermuda or Cooch for Suncorp?
I'd say Cooch.
Cooch.
Or maybe some Gabba grass.
Some Gabba grass.
Yeah.
See, I'm just worried about, because it's quite soft on the foot, that Gabba grass. Because, you know, it's a bit more in sand.
I'm hoping it's level.
You know what I'm hoping? Hoping it's a dry, fast track.
I'm hoping that this weekend, Suncorp Stadium is an absolute racetrack.
It will be.
Racetrack.
Can you just imagine Hamiso, Ruben Garrick, Saab's not playing. What are some other jet setters? Hamiso, Ruben Garrick.
Rob Derby.
Rob Derby.
Oh.
Was it 3 on the weekend?
3 on the weekend.
He could catch everything that was kicked in his direction. Safest pair of hands I've seen in a long time.
Long time. If not the safest. The safest of the weekend. Smith-like. And some of them, and Steve Smith will say, some of them just stick. They were sticking.
Well, it's instinctual, isn't it? You just got to go. Let's actually get into that Cowboys game because, correct me if I'm wrong, but were they down? Were they initially
It was
behind in the
18-6 at
scoreboard?
halftime, to my belief.
I was saying to friend of the show getting on soon, Henry Gardner, that the days of the 80-minute onslaught are over.
No.
Like in the Cowboys, like in the Raiders game, if you have a good a good first half, your coach isn't spraying you. You need a spray from Ricky Stewart or someone.
From Toddy Payton.
Toddy Payton.
Said to those losers at halftime, whip yourselves into shape, or Jake Clifford, I'm going to get that young kid back in your position and you won't be able to feed your family
Tom
next
Duffy.
week. All right?
I reckon the amount of saliva he would have got over Robert Derby, Drinkwater, Tommy Dearden.
Drinkwater would have been drinking
saliva.
Drinking saliva. It would have been
from Toddy Payton. And that's how they had such great success.
Yeah. It would have been, Scott drinks saliva.
Because Scott drinks saliva.
Toddy Payton's saliva.
Scott drinks Toddy Payton's saliva.
Scott drinks Toddy Payton's saliva drink water.
Yeah, and it showed as well because the power of the spray has never been bigger in the game of rugby league. And I think
this year.
Gus Gould can maybe testify to that because he's seen a few rugby league winters, and it was kind of phasing out the hard coach. But God, we can see it with the Broncos.
Madge. He's in a hard hand, Jed.
You know what I reckon Toddy Payton needs? He needs an Nakubra.
I agree.
If you're from North Queensland, and if he's also got the build, he's got his nice check shirt he wears, the little longhorn.
Maybe a belt
on the
buckle.
corner, a nice massive belt buckle. You know, he does a good job with his RMs. I think that's a great choice.
Yep.
They're sponsored by Yeti, which is very apt.
Geez. So apt.
But what he's missing is an Akubra in that coaching box. Because in the power of the Akubra in the coaching box, I reckon that would just take Cowboys, who are looking shaky for the top 8, right into top 4 contention. Eddie Jones, like maybe on the airplane, you get them all within the Akubra. Every one of those players.
Yeah,
Robert
everyone.
all the squad. Everyone.
Yeah, the whole of the Cowboys should be rocking an Akubra to and from the airport, I feel.
Yeah, channel that Eddie Jones energy, and that'll not
Don't
only...
challenge Eddie Jones. I don't want anything to
that
do
is-
with Eddie Jones, actually.
But did you
Pump
see him
the
on
brakes
the
on
weekend?
that, Jed. No, I refuse to
That is
associate
true.
myself. You know, the Cowboys
But that's,
would have given the idea to Eddie Jones. They just don't do it because they're better than him.
can we agree, though, the Cooper is still needed?
Oh,
we
the
still
Akubra-
need
yeah, the
Cowboys
Akubra
and
is
Coopers.
Definitely still needed. And belt buckles. I think
And belt
buckles are
buckles.
important.
And some... Maybe the boots, the RMs, but we don't want a more pointy toe.
I want a
One
pointy
time
toe,
that
and I want
curls up a bit.
spurs on the back.
We want Spurs.
We want spurs on the back.
That would make a difference. You can tell Tommy Dearden was playing with Spurs in the back of his feet. The
Oh,
way
he
he's
had,
running the ball.
he had big time spurs on his feet.
You know, Robert Darby, the way he's going up, you know, that was special.
That was
That
spur
was
like.
special. Spur-like.
You know what else? Jakey Clifford's double pumping on the weekend.
They should ban it.
No, it was prime Tilted Towers season 2 double pumping.
Fortnite banned double pump for a reason. Same with Isaiah
too
Katoa.
powerful.
The double pump, it just, especially when you go double pump into the forward pass, you can't stop that play.
Nah,
You can't stop a double pump into a forward pass straight over your second rower.
nah, you can't. It's too powerful. And seriously, like Jakey Clifford on Saturday night, he was prime ninja.
He was
He
going
just
crazy.
ran through Tilted and he cleaned everyone up.
He was solo squatting that.
He was solo squatting. I actually love the man. All right, I love him.
What he's great, he's got a running game. He's got
He's got everything in his game.
He's got a bit of an X factor, which is what you need these days. The Titans, one of the most hot and cold rugby league sides to ever exist. If they want success, they've got to move away from the Gold Coast. The lifestyle there, it's too good for a rugby league player. You know, the rugby league game is for your working class. You know,
You're hardworking, straight arrow.
You know, if you want something, you just got to work for it type of guy.
Yeah. And
But the
I
goal-
feel like you're given things at the Gold Coast that you're not given in other places.
Rick Shaw's, it's just
Yeah,
too nice of a
it's
place.
too nice.
You know, when you're on the rocks there.
It's beautiful. The bug sandwich at Rick Shaw's. Oh my word!
Never actually been to Rick.
Really, have you ever been there before?
But it's too nice. I know my rugby league knowledge, my rugby league performance would suffer like it's doing to all the Gold Coast players.
Do you reckon it actually is the lifestyle?
I reckon it's too easy. They don't, you know, it's not everything. You know, when they live in Canberra, when it's cold, when it, you know, it's pretty much freezing all the time.
I mean, they've got nothing else to do in
they
Canberra.
got nothing else to do but to train, watch film. You know, they haven't got any beaches to go to.
No, they've got some big brown lakes they could probably swim in.
But God, the Canberra Raiders, and so they should be. God, they got up for Anzac Day.
Oh my god, the milk were on fire.
You know who I thought stepped up when talking number 7s? Daly Cherry Evans stepped up this weekend. I thought against Penrith, he's gone against his opposite number in Origin, and he really stood up.
Yeah, he's got you know what I think? I think the scrutiny that he's been getting has been so unwarranted. He's an old head, right? Yeah, you know, had a bit of discrepancies early in the season with, you know, where's he going? Why is he not staying at Manly?
He's doing what's right for his family.
Doing what's right with his
He's
family.
a family man.
He's got kids in school, you know.
He's got kids. He's got a wife.
His wife's, you know, sitting at home making lunches while Daly's out there training.
And what about
with
not
Manly?
only Daly the father, but Daly the son? He's got a mother as well, and a father.
And you know what? The media have to remember that.
They got to remember, there's this, you know, there's actual feelings behind the name. Okay, he's not just some robot who goes out and you know, chases down Stephen Crichton in Game 3 in Origin in 2023.
No.
You know, he's not just that.
No.
Was that Game 3? No, it was Game 1.
Game one. Game 1.
2023, maybe it's 2024. Anyway, we'll check that up with the guy.
No, but you know, Daly Cherry's he's the brother. His brother's a professional scooterer.
Is he actually?
Yeah.
Is his
He
brother
ran
also
into some
Cherry
legal
Evans?
he ran into some legal trouble.
Oh, bugger. You know, those Manly boys, actually, I don't want to get into it.
Those northern beaches of Sydney, they're a bit Gold Coast like, Jed. There's a lot going on down there.
I wonder how they are. It's because they got the Travojeviches, that's why, and Daly Cherry Evans. That's how they're not too slow. Because they're missing a Cherry Evans at the Gold Coast, but maybe not next year. Maybe not next year. I want to start by saying that Astute Rugby League Minds called it. They knew that the Bulldogs were a joke. They knew that they had no business.
Best defensive side in the competition.
And they're the best defensive side, but they had a run of, was it 2 or 3 games keeping sides to 0? One of those sides was Newcastle Knights.
Oh, well done, fellas.
They can buy Dylan Brown, but they can't buy a rugby league try, that's for sure.
No, they can't. The Kings of the Sunday afternoon stinker.
Kings.
Oh, wow. Well done, Bulldogs.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Dogs.
They come to a Thursday night, prime time game, and they can't step up. With the likes of Sell and Cobbo running rings around them.
Yeah.
Who had a blinder? Oh, Adam Reynolds.
Oh, the kid, he just can't be stopped. Another old head, Jed.
I kind of feel bad. Every time they mention him, they said the little maestro. Not just the maestro. I just want him. He's a
a
maestro.
smaller gentleman. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm
There's
a
nothing
smaller
wrong with
gentleman.
that, but he's not defined by that, and that's what I love about him.
It's a good take, Jed.
It's a good. Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you. But who else? Who else had a ripper game? Paddy Carrigan stepped up. Payne Haas stepped up. I think Paddy's really coming into form come Origin time, and that's what you love to see.
Yeah, he does flick the switch around May.
I think Magic Round is kind of that line between, we've established where everyone sits. It's meant to be round 6, but by round 8, every team's lost a game, every team's won a game.
Penrith have lost a couple more than everyone else.
They are coming last, and how good is that?
Oh, God, how good is it?
They're so relaxed at the bottom, but and it's fair enough.
They've
got 4. They've won 4 in a row. But how good would it be if they just keep on losing? Like, there's no pressure on them because they're like, oh, they got Nathan Cleary at the helm. Maybe Nathan Cleary isn't all he's made out to be. Touch wood.
I think Nathan Cleary may be, and if we see you on the weekend, Nathan, we'll talk to you about this on Friday.
Maybe he might swing by.
He might swing by the Blanga meet and greet on Friday afternoon at 3:30. Be there. But I think Nathan, maybe it's a bit of a Scotty Pippen situation, buddy. Your buddy Luai, he's gone now, mate.
Are you saying Luai's MJ? I kind of like that point of view. He goes to the Tigers and he is it 2 or 3 wooden spoons in a row, and guess what? They just beat a top 4 contender in the Sharks. Soft underbelly, but a top 4 contender.
Very soft underbelly. And I've made my feelings about the Sharks very known on the show. I hate those guys. Like, I just think they're the biggest bunch of pretenders. Like, they're just full of blokes who just they're not there to win. They're not there to compete. I just hate them all. I can't shy away.
I want to make it clear I'm a Nico Hines fan. I had him in my Supercoach side when he scored about 160 in round 3 in 2023. But it's important to remember that Nico Hines has lost it. I think he's got a bad case of the yips.
I think he's got a very bad case of the yips.
He's got one of the worst case of rugby league yips I've seen in recent times. We go back, maybe Walshy's had a bit of the yips since his big hit against Suliti.
Yeah, he's lost it as well.
And I think Origin really, it gives you the yips because we have Nico obviously missed that tackle against Cam Munster, which won in the game when Hamill streaked down the sideline on another fast track in Adelaide. I'm just thinking about how fast the track's going to be at Suncorp.
Oh, it's going to be an absolute race track.
It's going to be a track.
I'm so excited for Magic Round.
As long as it's not too much dew.
Oh, God.
Because, the humidity in Brisbane.
It's bound to happen.
What in Brisbane, take away from rugby league for a second. It's almost jumper weather.
Oh, how good.
I'm excited to get my coats out. A few quarter zips.
But no, I think we're in the beautiful time right now. We're in vest season right now.
Oh, we are. We're in the middle of vest season.
And those who went to a private boys' school, vest season it's a big time of the year. It comes right before winter and a little bit after.
Yeah, it's a little sweet spot.
Sweet spot.
Sometimes people are a bit jumpy to get straight into the short
Correct.
sleeve.
But what I'm thinking, like this period of time where vests are more prevalent, what I see is a Saturday night at Fridays wearing your RMs and your jeans with a collared shirt and your vest. Vodka raspberry in one hand and a vodka raspberry in the other. So two up at the Breakfast Creek. It was out in the car park, and I'm not sure if you know, Jed, it's the only day of the year where you can play two-up.
Really?
Only day of the year you can play.
You're saying it's banned by the government every other day except for Anzac Day?
That is exactly what I'm saying, actually.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway, so didn't play any two-up when I got in there. But I thought about it.
And you were going to?
I was going to do it. Look, I went outside.
You didn't want to take some poor person's money, though,
No.
The
veterans wouldn't want that.
No, you're just there trying to have a good time with your mates. It's not about ripping people off.
No. No. And, what I got from the afternoon is I went out to the two-up, and I was like, oh, I'm keen to play, you know. Didn't have any cash.
Yeah, you need cash, don't you?
You need cash. They don't
duck into the ATM.
Well, look, I mean, I was hoping they'd take BPay at 2UP, and they didn't. I was hoping it was going to be like a tap on, tap off kind of situation.
In this cashless society for 2UP day, they'd have cash.
They sort of have the little squares.
You got to have a little square. You know, I hit you want $20 here.
Bang, yeah, and then it's like an interchangeable kind of thing,
and maybe a 63-cent
or like
surcharge.
Buddy, I'll T-fer you 20 if I win. Like if I get heads, you see someone from across.
Yeah, okay. But even on that BPay, you know, the crew could take a small profit, maybe like 10 cents.
10
for
cents, yeah. No, obviously holiday
even 20
surcharge.
Well, 10 cents plus holiday surcharge. That's at least what 11.5%.
Yeah, which I think is fair.
So in the 50%. Yeah. Anyway, continue on.
Anyway, so look, it was a big afternoon. As I said, I didn't play a lot of 2UP, but I was out there and I experienced it. And it was really, really cool. Anyway, went back inside. I got a big table. It was really, really fun. And anyway, so the Broncos rock up. So the Brisbane royalty.
Well, they're the people's team.
They are. And of course they're there on Anzac Day. Like, it'd be rude if they weren't.
I know.
So the likes of
they're great people.
Yeah, they're great people. Well, we'll get into that.
Great people make great football players.
Correct. Anyway, so Payne Haas comes in. Jordan Ricky comes in. And
that Payne Haas is a wonderful human.
Wonderful human. Such a gentle giant.
Gentle giant.
Yeah. Anyway, so I go up to Jordan Ricky. I was like, oh, hey, buddy, how's it going? Love your work. I'm a big fan. Can I have some DAP? And he said, no, you can't have any DAP.
What? I would have gone red. I'm going red right now.
I did go red, and, you know, his friends laughed at me. My friends laughed at me.
His friends as in Payne Haas? Or
no.
Friends who happen to be girls?
There was a couple of girls around him, and I said, look, as I said, can I have some DAP? Didn't give any DAP. And then, look, it was that part of the afternoon, I just started begging for DAP.
From Jordan?
From Jordan. I'm like, Jordan, please give me some DAP, mate. Like, come on.
Oh, no.
Just give me one little bit of DAP.
You're in a hole and you're just digging deeper.
I was digging deeper, and it was a little bit of a rugby league low point for me.
That's right.
But look, we move on, and Jordan, we'll be keen to see you at 3:30 on Friday at the Caxton, right? For the meetup, right next to the sausage tent.
There's actually some, because obviously he would have heard about us as well.
Correct.
Maybe he didn't like some of the things we've said about him in the past.
Like the pretty boy stuff. Look, I didn't mean it, Jordan.
And I think Jordan, he has a good sense of humour. He understands that we're just having a joke. You know, he's playing rugby league. It's mutual respect.
It's a mutual respect.
Important takeaways from that story, though. It shows the mentality of the Broncos that we're not out here giving freebies. We're going to work hard this season, go after the premiership. I think that's probably the takeaway.
Yeah, and I think that is what I was kind of thinking probably the next day. But in the moment, I was pretty upset.
And you would be, but that's the ruthless attitude that Madge has embodied.
Exactly.
He said, you know, you can say no to a Howard Smith-Wharf session or a, you know, the Broncos maybe struggled with in the past.
Yeah.
You know, getting a few scuffles.
Yeah.
And that's why, because he knew if he dapped you up, he would have been hanging with you all night. You would have shown him a good time.
I would have shown him probably too good of a time.
He would have got himself in a bit of trouble because he couldn't keep up.
No, I would have given him a red hot Blanga rip, and I don't know if Jordan at this point in the season, at the pre Magic round, is almost ready for a Blanga rip.
After he's done win the premiership, we'll take him out for a good night.
We'll take him out.
We'll show him a good time. Maybe take him up to the Newey, one of our favourites. Which this week, the pub
of the week
is the Newmarket
Hotel again. Well done, Newey.
I actually didn't get down to the Newey in the last week, but I drove past it and it was looking phenomenal.
Yeah, it always is. Were they playing 2UP in the car park?
Yeah, they do. They celebrate the Anzac well down there. I'm not sure what was going on, but you know they would have done it right.
We weren't there. I wish we were there.
Should have been there. Maybe next time.
Maybe next week.
Brings us to our next segment, which is the LinkedIn connection of the week, and continuing on with this Magic Round theme. You know, there's magic in the air, and we want to thank the people that bring the magic. And we're not talking about Dumbledore dropping Harry Potter off on the doorstep, bringing the magic.
Mm.
We're talking about Andrew Abdo, who's put in all the admin work behind Magic Round to make this thing
It will be humming. I mean, we'll see the fruits of his labour come Friday afternoon. Obviously at the meetup at the Caxton.
They also recently bought they buy some restaurants in Caxton Street, I believe. So
I think there has been some dabbling in the properties.
Yeah, and the real estate on Caxton Street. So not only he'll be enjoying the business there, with an eye on that, because he's very business minded. Because in the end, rugby league is a business. It's the game we love, but it's a business. So our link to connection of the week is Andrew Abdo.
Well Play of the week this week is
maximising TIC, and what I mean by that is maximising an optimal, efficient amount of
time in Caxton.
TIC.
And that is not just the Caxton, as in the pub. That's Caxton Street.
If we're talking about it, we're more talking about the suburb. And can I call Caxton the suburb? I know it's Paddington.
Come Magic
Milton.
Round, it's a suburb. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's verging between Milton because Milton is down there, Paddington up there.
Ithaca, if we got if
so
we're looking back in
time in the Caxton area is what we're looking after.
Yeah.
We want to maximise that. So I'm talking Friday. Come to our meetup. That'll be great, and you'll stay there until close, or you put in a good effort, but you don't want to impact because you got 2 more days of ripping, and you would have gone hard the night before for Women's Origin.
Yeah, you would have been there anyway.
You would have been there. So what we got Friday meetup, Saturday just get down there early. Game start probably around 3 o'clock. But you got to warm up in the Caxton, of course, and you got to warm down. You got to warm up, warm down, get those muscles loose, and don't let them get too cold.
No,
and then Sunday
you got to be hot all week.
We got Monday off, so Sunday that's when the how well you've done the TIC really pays off.
Shows
because if you're relaxed, if you're comfortable in there, it'll fly by. But if you're
comfortable on Caxton Street, the time will fly. Right, but if you're uncomfortable, you might not be enjoying where you're at. And I think it's important that the more time you spend on Caxton Street in Caxton, the suburb,
because there's so many like-minded people around,
like-minded rugby league
people who
individuals.
love rugby league football, who thank Peter Volandes for all they've done for the game, who connected with Andrew Abdo on LinkedIn because they know that Andrew Abdo does things. Andrew Abdo is the man in the business arena. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But look, the main thing is that you got to be there for your team. You got to be there for your mates, for your family, for your state. All right.
And on Monday morning, we'll put up a poll on our Instagram. You have to send in how many hours. Because your top echelon, most elite players, they'll be putting in at least 18 hours in the Caxton over the 3 days.
Yeah, over the 3 days. Yeah.
So you got to that's the goal. That's the goal. So please send in at the end of the week how many hours you spent in the Caxton this week for the play.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Righto. Thanks for watching, everybody. Paddy Carrigan.
Reach out.
Another absolute heater of an app.
Yeah. Keeping it short.
Sorry for the week off. We needed the week off.
Newmarket Hotel will have a tough competition this week.
Yeah, very tough.
Maximising TIC.
Voice crack there. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week after a huge rip at the Caxton. Everyone remember 3:30 at the Caxton, right next to the sausage stand. Peace out.
Catch ya.